Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
The playoffs are secured, but RCB want more. They want to finish in the top two and give themselves that extra bite at the final. Two steps in their way. Step one is Sunrisers Hyderabad. They meet at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow, and we build up to the game on Nexa presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout, where we are joined by Tom Moody and Varun Aaron. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. It's moved to Lucknow because it's been pouring in Bengaluru, and that's good news for RCB because, believe it or not, it's been 20 days since they played. Is that almost too long a break? How do you manage that?
It's too long, definitely in the middle of a tournament. And it's, for them, it hasn't solved all their sort of injury problems. They've still got some issues with regards to players that are out of the tournament and haven't returned in Hazelwood. So, it's going to be hard for them to pick things up and try to find that rhythm and that momentum again.
The move away from Bengaluru, one, because of the rain, but also because of how good RCB have been on the road, they might be happy because they won 6 out of 6 away so far.
For sure. But if you go to see Yash, most of their matches, they lost the toss in Bangalore. They batted first and they weren't able to assess the wicket. The captain thought it was going to be a good batting wicket. In fact, even most of the guys who did the pitch report thought it was going to be a good batting wicket, and it turned out to be quite a sticky wicket. So Virat Kohli, again, one of the big factors, batting second, always much better. That's why even his record has been great away from home. So yeah, they will be relieved all in all, but sad for the Bangalore fans.
How do you see them going at the Ekana? Because they now play both their games here, SRH and then Lucknow.
I think it's going to be good for them. Anything out of Bangalore is going to be good. One, because of the rains, and also even if they had to play, the wicket would have been very, very tacky. And their batting lineup will always do better on a solid, hard wicket.
And they have confirmed that this will be the red soil at Ekana that will be used for this game. How do you see RCB going at that venue?
I agree. I think that they'll welcome being away from home for all the points you brought up. I think that psychologically, in the back of their head, they'll be thinking like, we're owning it away from home. We've got that sort of historical sort of burden back at home that our win record is not great. So we can just look forward to playing all our games away and focus on just being top two.
They will feel like they have some batting boxes they want to tick RCB before the playoffs begin. Jacob Bethel, this is the last game that he's available for. Phil Salt is around for the playoffs, but there's some news that he might be going home as he expects the birth of his child. It's been a month since Salt played, almost a month, April 24th. They'll need him to rekindle that partnership with Kohli, which was so key to their success.
And with Phil Salt, I think he's one of those unique players where he doesn't need constant touch, constant games of cricket to continue sort of a rhythm to his game. He's a real sort of impact player, see ball, hit ball, and he does it from ball one. So he's not really what you'd call a touch player. He's more of a real powerhouse at the top there. So I don't think that'll bother him at all. I think he'll just welcome getting out there and playing some cricket.
The bigger concern is, and it's been a while, but Devdutt Padikkal was ruled out of the tournament. They got Mayank Agarwal in as the replacement. He hasn't had the chance to play because RCB haven't had the chance to play. Does he slot in straight at number 3, given his troubles in T20 cricket of late?
I think he will. He's going to come in very, very hungry because he wasn't picked up in the auction. He was the captain of a side, I think, 4 years ago, and not getting picked up in an auction would have been a huge shocker for him. So he's going to come in hungry, wanting to contribute. And again, he's playing for RCB. He's not played for RCB for a long time. Yeah. And we know all the Bangalore boys, when they come back to RCB, they do really well. Devdutt Padikkal, a big example. And I really think it might be one of those turnaround seasons for him. Also, he has the cushion of 2 games which are not very high pressure. So he can just get a rhythm of things and not try to do anything fancy.
And then there's also Rajat Patidar. He'd seen his own batting form tail off a bit. He had an injury to deal with, hurt his finger. Given some of these questions around the batting, it's important for Patidar to pick up his form before the playoffs as well.
Very much so. And, during that period as captain too, new responsibility, there's a lot of thinking time. Number 1, trying to get over the injury. Number 2, excited and unsure about what the future is with RCB. He's, done a great job stepping in as leader, but he'll definitely want to get back out into the middle and recapture some, form because they do need him running hot into the finals.
Correct. Let's turn our attention towards Sunrisers. Last couple of games of what has been a disappointing campaign for runners-up from 2024. And the player we're putting the spotlight on is Ishan Kishan. Such a big money signing, such a solid start, the best start possible to the season, but just fizzled from there. How do you view the way things have gone for Kishan?
Look, he started off really well, like you said. After that, he had a string of 3 dismissals where he got out really, really softly. One down the leg, I still remember it. One towards deep point, and then one caught in cover. And they were really good shots, except the down the leg one, obviously. And sometimes with Ishan Kishan, that can get him thinking too much. He's one of those players. I mean, I've been seeing him since he was a kid. When he has clarity of mind, he's an unbelievable player. The moment he's muddled with too many thoughts, that's when he starts trying to change things. He starts trying to change his rhythm, and that's something which has gotten to him throughout the season. I think last 2 games, all that there should be in his mind is just come out and express himself.
Weigh in on that, because if we consider everything we've said about Sunrisers for the rest of the season, it's almost felt like they have too much clarity because they've had only one lever. You've mentioned their stubbornness of not changing their approach. What kind of role has that played in what we've seen from Kishan?
Well, it's interesting because we know Ishan Kishan's naturally a stroke maker and he likes to go after the bowling, but I just wonder whether he just got caught a little bit too much into the vacuum of what the Sunrisers' philosophy is, which, you can't argue against it because it was very successful last year. It had its, brief moments this year, but what we've commented on, they haven't adjusted. So I think that Ishan Kishan has been a little bit caught up with, what Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma has been doing at the top, and maybe sort of thinking too far ahead instead of thinking what's right in front of him, which is the very next ball he needs to deal with. And that's potentially been his downfall. And it probably, even though it was a brilliant way to start for him getting that 100 early, it may have also sort of been not what he needed immediately. He probably needed to build a stronger foundation without sort of blasting out of the blocks like he did.
Does he have a future at Sunrisers? Because you'd imagine if they want to make any changes, they'd have to take a hard call or two. And the big money players who come in the spotlight then are a Kishan or a Shami.
I think Sunrisers might want to buy him back for a cheaper rate because 11 crore is a lot, and they've gone through not the most successful journey throughout the whole tournament. Shami, again, there were a lot of hopes on Shami to give them the breakthroughs with the new ball. He hasn't been able to do that. Obviously, he's struggling with his injury. Just come back from injury, he's struggling with his rhythm. So I think Shami and Ishan Kishan will be the usual suspects to go under the hammer again and maybe get them back for a cheaper rate.
Will that sort of decision have already been made, or does he still have a chance to influence his own future in these last 2 games?
I don't think it would have been made. It would have been discussed. I sort of beg to differ a little bit because I just think that Ishan Kishan, if he went back into the auction, he may be one of those cases which we've seen in the past that he's bought for 11 and then goes back into the auction thinking you might get him up for 7. He goes for 15 or something ridiculous because you just don't know what other people's needs are and what the market, place actually says in an auction environment. And, it may be, because it's hard enough to get top-line Indian talent when you've got 10 teams. And to let one go and risk that, I think it's too big a risk in a first year of a 3-year cycle.
And from everything that's been mentioned on this couch, there will be a few teams out there in the market looking for Indian wicketkeeper batters.
You know what? Actually, I think he might be traded to. I think a trade to KKR would be on the cards because KKR really need a wicketkeeper batsman. So I wouldn't say I would swallow my own words and say that not back into the auction, but a trade could be possible.
Who for? Chakravarti.
Not Chakravarti. They could do a double trade for they need a spinner, Anukul Roy, and they need a finisher. So Ramandeep and Anukul Roy for Ishan Kishan.
Anukul Roy. 2-1. Hey? Surprised you brought him up.
I knew that.
Perfect. Worlds are colliding. The past of this couch is meeting its present as we discuss the future. Anyway, predictions. Are you backing RCB even after this 20-day break?
I'm actually going with Sunrisers for this one. I just think that they're going to, continue to upset.
And leave on a high.
I'll go RCB because RCB have a really good record away from home. And Virat Kohli just leaving his test career aside, I just think if there was more hunger in him, he's going to show all of that to get the IPL trophy this year.
All right, Varun, Tom, thank you so much for setting up the game for us. Neck and neck on the couch, and neck is what the history, both overall and recent, between these two sides suggests.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.